Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready?
Get ready, y'all. Get ready. Get ready.
All right, everybody, we're getting ready. We're getting ready. We're getting ready. Oh, Adam's there. If you could all take your seats, we're actually going to get started on time this morning because there's some cool stuff happening in this space. I'm happy to see you all. I see some lemonade stand people. I got you. Hi, John. I didn't say hi on the microphone because sometimes I do that and people are like, oh my gosh. Good morning, good morning. Oh, it's so nice to see you. Good morning. Yeah, find a seat, please. We'll get started. I'm super excited. I always am for 1MC. I'm always excited every Wednesday, but there's just something really big happening in our region, I feel, that's very revolutionary around food systems. So really excited to share this with you. Today at 1MC, we have a presenter, and this is, I wanted to kind of just say one thing about the ecosystem. When we offered the pitches and the networking events and stuff, it's really how you meet people within your ecosystem. And I think that I can speak for myself and Annie, like doing that work of the SOH was so fun to meet people in our community that are doing really great things that we may not have met otherwise. And so just, continuing to collaborate even outside of the hub work or the work is really important for all of us to stay communicative and collaborative as we move the work forward. So I just want to say, I really always say this, but I really super appreciate you. We are making a difference, which is really exciting. So without further ado, I would love to introduce Adam Holtley with Rogue Produce and let you take it away from here.
Good. All right. Good morning. So as Kim introduced me, my name's Adam Holtley, and I own Rogue Produce. And I just wanted to waste a couple minutes, first of all, just saying how happy I am to be in Grants Pass. I grew up in Ashland, and I played high school football, and I always loved the Grants Pass team that we competed against. It was like we always had a friendly competitiveness. As opposed to Roseburg and North Medford. They were no good. But it's just funny because my wife and I were tabling on First Friday outside of Mystic Valley Tea Shop, and I saw this guy sitting right here. I don't know, what's your name again? Jeff. So I saw Jeff, and I saw him walk up the stairs, and I'm like, where did I see that guy? And we had a great conversation, and he's part of the reason I love Grants Pass. This guy was talking about how he grows up on the river. He'd cross the river to go get pie and stuff from Pennington Farms, and it just really speaks to the connection and how lucky he is to have his kids growing up in a place like this where you would ride your bike around and go to farms. And so that's part of my passion. The business is Rogue Produce, and I wanted to just start, I'll explain more about the business later, but how many of you try to make healthy decisions in your diet for the most part? Raise your hands. All right, good. Then those are my people. I'm working on that too, and mostly working on it a lot more now because my wife is big into nutrition. Was a vegetarian when I met her. Now she is not, but she's very high into nutrition. I can't eat anything bad. She doesn't make anything bad. So I'm glad to see that. And then who likes to support local growers? Good. And local businesses in general? All right. So I wanted to just kind of ask and go through, how do you do that? So what are your options? If you like to buy local produce, you can go to a farm, right? You could go to all these different farms, and you might know some of the names around here. Anybody heard of Intergalactic Acres? Just wondering. Blue Fox Farm, Whistling Duck Farm, Wandering Roots Farm, Fry Family Farm. Those are all farmers that we purchase from, and we have their produce available on our website. But it's tough. I mean, you can go to the farmer's market. That's kind of a good way, right? But not even all the farmers show up there, not all the bakers show up there, not all the ranchers show up there. You may not be able to get one product or another that's made local, like value-added produce. And especially you're not going to be able to run around to all the local bakeries and get all this stuff. So what Rogue Produce does is we make it easy. We do all the hustle and bustle, and it is a lot of hustle and bustle. We take our orders, so you order through our website, and then we deliver on Fridays whatever you order from the site. And so on Thursdays, that means we're driving around all over town to get these produce materials. So we're going to the farmer's market to pick up from farms. We're going to bakeries. We're going to Higher Power Raw Foods in Ashland. We're going to Rogue Creamery, getting all this produce, and then some of it gets delivered to us. We bundle it together on Friday morning, and then we deliver it directly to your home or to drop sites. If you pick up your order at a drop site, it's no delivery charge, basically. And I'll explain more about that. But I want to give you an idea, because I found last week when I was tabling that the best way to show you this is just to show you the website. So you go to rogueproduce.com. Up at the top it tells you when to order. Place your order by Tuesday, August 19th for a home delivery on Friday, August 22nd. So you scroll down, you have a couple options. You can choose for your order to be packed with less plastic if you want us to do that. And then you also choose your drop site. So we have drop sites in Talent, in Phoenix, in Medford, and Ashland. So if you want to go pick up your order and not have to pay a delivery fee, that's also available. So then you scroll down, we have pre-assorted bundles, which are really focused on sourcing from local farms. A vegetable bundle, an omnivore bundle that has meat and cheese and bread and then fruits and veggies. And then an economy bundle, which since we have to order wholesale, we have to buy larger boxes of stuff, and sometimes we have leftover from what we need to provide for the customers. So for the economy bundle, we give you basically like $35 worth of produce for $25, because it's a lot of the extra cucumbers or zucchini or whatever it is we have that we want to move instead of composting it or trying to find an outlet for it. So then we put items on sale every week. But then we have our little bakery here. We've got Little Shop of Bagels in Ashland, so this is all supporting local. We've got a gluten-free breads from Vita Bakery in Ashland, which is a Brazilian baker. We've got Organicos in Phoenix. There's a Yes Bakery that's a gluten-free baker that's fantastic. But then we have regular breads, you know, your good old gluten. This one, Farm and Flour, I live in Jacksonville, and she has a farm stand out on Sterling Creek Road. Anyone know that farm stand? It's the pink little house, yeah. So we just started working with her. So on the way into Bundle, on Friday mornings, we pick up the fresh baked bread, and now we're putting on scones that she wants to sell on here too. So it builds so many connections, but lots of stuff. Coquette Bakery, Rise Up Bakery, and then we rotate coffees so that we can support more and more of the local businesses. So this next cycle we're doing Case Coffee in Ashland, but we can rotate on any coffee. And then this is my wife's product here. She makes a hot chocolate mix, and she does a chai and a decaf chai. And then we've got basically everything you need: butter, cheese. A lot of the cheese comes from the Cheese Cave in Phoenix, but then Rogue Creamery, we got eggs, we got fruit. And so you might ask, well, how do you have citrus on there? It's because we buy through Organically Grown Company, which is a distributor in Eugene. So for anything that we can't get locally, like avocados and things like that, or anything that's just not being grown at the time, we can buy, and it's all organic through them, and they deliver to us where we bundle out of, which is Fry Family Farm. So we have like a place in their walk-in refrigerator where the big trucks can pull up and bring pineapples and avocados and anything that we can't get locally. But anything not local is certified organic. So you go through all this stuff, you just put it in your cart. We've got chicken, which we actually have to go to Corvallis to get, or they come to us, because there's one Cow Creek Chicken in Grants Pass that we might start working with. They actually just called us about a week ago. But we found that there are not a lot of people producing chicken because there's nowhere to process your chicken here. You have to drive, who knows where to get it done. So that's how it works. You throw all these items in the cart, and then you go to the checkout, and it's a lot like any other online shopping platform. You just go to your cart, check out, and then you get a confirmation, and we send it to the drop site, or we deliver it to your home. So why I'm here today is because I've tried in the past to do this in Grants Pass. We serve primarily Ashland, Medford, Phoenix talent. We have a drop site in Rogue River, which is about as far north as we go. So Mystic Valley Tea Shop, which just opened up a place here right down the street, we buy tea from them, and that's how we got to know them, is buying their teas. And so they offered to be a drop site in Rogue River, and now we're trying to launch it in Grants Pass. So they opened up a shop. This is the picture of their tea shop. And I kind of lied when I said we do direct delivery, because we're not going to start in Grants Pass doing direct home delivery. It's going to start with the drop site, because we have tried this 2 or 3 times where we're like, okay, we'll do home delivery, but then Grants Pass is so spread out. It's like we're driving an extra 30 minutes from Medford and then having to go like all over this huge, people in Merlin will order, and then it's like we got to go another 5 miles and out on some country road and then up a driveway for 5 miles or something like that. So we're going to start with a drop site, and as soon as we get 20 people signed up and committed to ordering, then we'll do our first delivery to Mystic Valley Tea Shop. And then from there, if we build the drop sites, then we can do direct home delivery within a certain geography. And we are giving some incentive for people who are doing this, like the first 20 people to do it. So we have all the drop sites we go to here. And I'm doing this because I can't remember what the incentives are. But I believe after you do your first order, you get a $10 account credit, which is really easy to utilize on your next purchase. And then for every $100 that you spend at the market, you get a $10 credit as well. So it's like 10% off everything off the site all the time. So that's why I'm here, is I want to stress, for one, what this has done like in Ashland and Talent, and actually in Grants Pass, because a lot of the growers we work with and some of the businesses are Applegate Valley and some of the farms I mentioned. But it creates a really cool network of us knowing the farms, us reaching out to the farms, us learning about new bakeries, new ranchers, new farmers, and just building that whole network. So I want to do that here, and I just need that commitment of 20 people. We've got like 12 so far, and we haven't really marketed it that much yet, but I wanted to use this as a launch for it, and then start marketing it again hard to get this drop site going. So I brought a few things, just presenting what my asks are. I brought these brochures, which are lovely, and I've got a ton of them over here. Take a flyer and pass it around to whoever you think would be interested. But this is really like the direct QR code to the Grants Pass drop site to sign up, and it's free to sign up. It's a free membership. So when you sign up for a drop site, there's no delivery fee, and you get all the access to our sales. So it's basically a free membership, which usually would just reduce the delivery fee. But anyway, QR code, I've got a ton of them over here, so if you want to grab some of those, take a shot of the QR code. It takes you to that Grants Pass drop site, which is just down the street. You sign up for that. As soon as we get 20 people, we'll let you know, and we'll say, come order and get your local produce. And it really is the highest quality produce. I mean, that's really been our objective from the get-go. Every once in a while, I have had a farm that it's like, I can't buy those potatoes. They're not good. But that hardly ever happens, especially with the quality of growers we have now in the valley. And I have some other flyers you could take. If you have a business, I have a rack with these brochures that you could put 30 or 40 of them in. And then I've got this little old school tab flyer for pulling off if you have a bulletin board. So that's my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions or answers. John.
How do you make money?
I make money by the margin I earn off of the produce I sell. Mm-hmm. Yes. We don't. We've actually tried to do that like 3 or 4 times. And I remember one of the more, well, no, it was a while ago during COVID, because that's when we really exploded with our business, was when we were the only people doing direct delivery of local stuff, which was a miracle. That's a long story, though, because I was literally like, screw this, I'm not going to do this anymore. And my vans had broken down, and then it was like, we were coming back from a Keen concert to celebrate my mom's 60th birthday, or maybe 70th birthday, and get back, wanted to close the business. One van broke down, then another van broke down, and then our sales went like 500% or something like that. And I'm like, okay. So, what was the question again? Oh, no. So we tried to take food stamps, and that's where I was on the call to the feds, being like, how do I do this? And they're like, sorry, the only places that can do that without having a brick and mortar storefront are Amazon and Walmart. So we couldn't do it then, but then we tried again recently, and it's still, that was an even worse phone call. It was like, sorry, I'm not saying this, and I could get fired if I tell you, but the people who administer that, acceptance of that application hold their cards close to their chest. And I'm like, so you're saying it was basically, since I'm a for-profit, I couldn't get accepted to take SNAP. That was the gist of it. But I don't know. So, yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same.
Yes. Okay, yeah, I'm always open to do that. I get a lot of requests for, as to whether we accept it or not.
Yeah, Kia's a great point of contact. She actually set the whole thing in motion, and she runs that. But my question is, as a grower or a baker, how do you get on your website? Like how
Oh, you
how
just
do you
call.
become a seller?
Just, we've got a contact form. We've got our phone number on there, my email. All the numbers and contact information go right to me. So you just send us an email or submit a contact form, and we can start talking about your product and all those details.
Is there a product you feel like you're missing? Like, is there a gap you would like to fill?
Chicken, USDA certified chicken, eggs. Eggs are simple for the most part. But no, there's not really anything. And what we're trying to do, since there are so many bakeries and coffee roasters, we're trying to get a system of rotation going, and even with farmers. So it's like one cycle we might focus on one farm exclusively and just get their produce so that we can support them with a nice order for that order cycle. So really, no matter what you are, if you're local and you have a good product, then we're going to want to get you listed at some point. So. Oh.
I did it.
Woo!
My big win. I've been looking forward to this one for quite a while. Adam, I used your service in the past when you were coming out here and doing deliveries, home deliveries. And I just want to say thank you for that. One question and then one ask. Have you received any interest from local restaurateurs?
I've served some restaurants in the past, and I get phone calls, and I just connected with one guy in Ashland who's opening a new restaurant there, and it's I sold to businesses in the past wholesale, but right now I pretty much just help with logistics. Like, I just help connect them to local farms, because that's really the best way to do it. The local farms have to establish those relationships over time, but once they get them solid, then it's one of the best avenues for them to sell their produce. But it just takes, the best way to do it is not to have a middleman. It's just the restaurant has to go right to the farm, and they have to develop that. But I usually just help to get that started.
Awesome. And then the other thing was that I've been signed up for weeks, so I
Yes.
implore everyone to please sign up so I can finally get my stuff.
And so you must be Mr. Dan Buck. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
it's a pleasure to meet you. It's been like
You as well.
probably 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, I signed up while I was talking. That's why I was doing while I was actually having the conversation. So yeah, for sure, love it.
Awesome.
More questions?
Thank you. John.
Okay, I've got a small question.
Mhm.
Very small question. It's in backyard. Okay, so for instance. Oh, well, thank you. Hey, so, okay, I'm an example. We've got backyard chickens. We've got an herb garden. In a couple months, we're going to have to harvest all our basil before it dies. And we'll end up throwing out a lot of it, probably. We produce twice the number of delicious eggs than we can eat. Now, people usually will put like an egg box out front, etc. Is that can we work with you?
In that case, and this has been one of the challenges over time, is it's like we get people who have like, I don't know what to call it. It's not a garden. It's a little bigger than a garden. And so, and they're growing great produce, but it's like they just aren't quite to that point where they can supply us regularly or consistently, and it's difficult to get their brand and everything on the site and then stay in touch with them. And so at that level, I would suggest just, coordinate with your neighbors and trade for zucchini or something.
So
But,
no.
yeah, and we can't go like down to that degree where, you're not growing to sell at the level that we need. So.
Anybody else?
So being based in the Rogue Valley, obviously throughout the state of Oregon, there's a lot of, wonderful areas of farmland and for produce and all the things. Do you have any plans to expand either up north or even further west, where there may be untapped areas of farmland to sell?
So you mean to reach out for other growers or to serve customers?
Both.
Well, I think the Grants Pass is definitely the next step. Roseburg could possibly happen, but I've come to desire to just settle on local as possible, and I think Grants Pass is probably the furthest we'll go, because really the whole concept of the business is, we'd like to see it replicated in Eugene or in Bend or someplace that has enough people to support it. And so I probably wouldn't go past Grants Pass, but I'd love to help someone do that. If someone wanted to do it in Roseburg, I don't know if that would sustain itself. That would be the trick. We might be able to get 30 or 40 people up there, but then that'd be like, yeah, quite the logistics on that one, but it's crossed my mind. Yes. Not really. No. I wouldn't be close to that idea. And there's this whole other side of our business where it actually started, where we pick up food scraps and we donate the scraps to local farms. So we have this whole other thing where we're going residentially and picking up people's kitchen scraps once a week. And that's an amazing process too. So I'd like to see it replicated, especially on that end of things. But I feel like in most bigger cities, by this point, there is a service like ours to some degree. Like in Eugene, I think it's called Lane County Bounty. I'm sure Portland has it. But yeah, so I wouldn't really be too excited about a franchise idea. Just want to stay local, and then I want to stay growing more of the food, because we're growing some of our own crops now. Yes.
So can you talk a little bit more about the food pickup? Because I noticed that on there. So is it food pickup and you take it and compost it, or you're giving it out to compost?
Well,
or how does
food
that work?
scrap pickup service we call community compost, and we don't do it anywhere north of Medford. We have a few commercial clients in Medford, but residentially we only serve Ashland and Talent. Yeah, I don't think we have anyone in Phoenix. So it's just Ashland and Talent, and that's where enough people concentrated and enough numbers are making it worth our time to do that. But so we go around and people set out a bucket of their kitchen scraps and then we pick that up, put it into bins in our vehicle, and then we drive it to 2 or 3 different farms, and then they're mixing it with manure and wood chips and things like that, or feeding it to their animals. And we're just, it's such common sense, but it's, most of the power in that arena is with the disposal companies. And so it's kind of a trick, but it's an awesome program. And it does, the more and more I learn about it, it's like, why are we throwing all that resource into the landfill when it could be going to feed animals and lowering costs for farmers? And even though it doesn't seem that practical, like it reminds me of that Burger King commercial, I think, where it's like monuments of inefficiency. Has anyone heard that? It's like their burgers, that's their phrase. But it's like, okay, yeah, you can just pick up everybody's scraps, send them to the landfill, they'll compost it, but they'll make a really crappy compost that has microplastics in it and stuff because they can't, monitor what's in it. But when you do it small scale and you're picking up and you see every bucket and you're dumping every bucket and then you're dumping the bucket on the farm and you get eyes on it and then you have a farmer who really cares about what the quality of the compost is, then it's going to be the best end product that you can make. And then you're also not giving money to a company that's not based locally, like Waste Connections, who owns Dry Creek Landfill. They're like all over the country. And then now they own Rogue Disposal. So it's just been a thing, like from the get-go when I started that, the Recology in Ashland was threatening to shut me down because of their franchise agreement with the city that says, they're the only ones who can haul waste on their streets. So that's kind of, it resurfaces every once in a while, but it's a great thing. And I think through this business, I want to share more and more about that as it evolves and that story evolves. But yeah, that happening in Grants Pass, that's probably not going to be for a while.
Trevor?
Yeah, real quick. What does the site look like mid-January? Mostly baked goods, or how does that?
No, in mid-January, it really goes dry in February in terms of local stuff. But then we purchase organic produce from Organically Grown Company in Eugene. And they're a big distributor, but they focus on buying from small farms across the U.S. and then primarily Northwest. That's their focus. But yeah, we're not going to have, some different varieties of produce, but we can still get most of what we need to fulfill. It's just not going to be 100% local. But everything like baked goods, meats, cheeses, all of that, that's going to remain local all year round. But we just, over the years, we've wanted to satisfy customers who are, wanting tomatoes. And so we decided to work with this distributor because we wanted to be a one-stop shop where you could do all your shopping instead of having to go here and there and here and there for everything.
So really great concept. Quick comment. I was texting my wife while I was trying to navigate on the site because I got kicked out. That's my problem, not yours. But she actually mentioned that she signed up before, which is cool. So she was one of the OGs, and I also registered just right now. So double dipping, I guess. But have you heard of the Blue Zone Project?
Is the Zone Project?
Blue Zone Project.
Blue Zone, no.
Okay, so a couple years ago, Blue Zone was here really because we're kind of in a food desert in a way. So it was really about providing education and access to healthy foods, to try to elevate, health of the area, Josephine County. So I would be really interested in revisiting that one day. We're working on some initiatives that really centered around health. And I think that there could be a great collaboration sometime in the future to try to bring stuff like that here, really partner with local partners like the farmers like you are. And I see you as being you're creating an ecosystem, which is really cool. So I just wanted to give you a shout out for that.
Awesome, thank you.
So I think this is a great idea. I love it. But as you know, human beings are funny creatures. They're creatures of habit and convenience, and they don't like trying new things if they don't have to sometimes. Mm-hmm. And so for your average person on the street who goes, wow, I get all my stuff at Winco or Walmart or Fred Meyer, what's the pitch? Hey, listen, I understand that you have this established pattern of where you're doing your grocery shopping. Here's why we're better. What is the what's that conversion?
It's mainly prayer, you know. Please, more people sign up. No, I mean that is a trick for sure. Because even myself, I mean, before meeting my wife, I mean, yeah, I would eat a lot of local produce, but now it's like to this level where I'm like, how are we doing this? You know, it's like we're growing stuff and then we're preserving stuff, and so it is. There's a lot behind it. And I just feel like it's a cultural thing. I mean, it's really like the culture needs to move, and there's not much I can do. I can just really present what we are and the fact that we're doing as much purchasing locally as we possibly can. We want to get every new farmer. We want to support small farms in every way that we can. So yeah, it's just really sharing who we are and what we're doing. And then the people who are looking for that will sign up. That's really the thing. But yeah, I mean, trying to get someone to not shop here and shop local. There's so many factors that it's hard to do that.
Have you considered kind of to incentivize first-time people for signing up for the service and using it? Have you considered any kind of like a loss leader strategy where, you know, hey, you know, if you're a brand new customer and you're ordering your first thing, you're getting like X% off of your first order or first 2 orders to get people to try the service and then hook them in with the quality of the products being offered?
I am sure I've done that in the past, and it's a great thing to relaunch again as a promotion. Yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else have questions?
All
Right,
right.
I'll just make a quick comment though. So when I was on the website though, your little pop-up to sign up in Grants Pass kept kicking me off your website.
Oh,
So
it did?
You're gonna
Okay.
have from on the mobile side.
Okay.
But once you back out and X out and X out and X out, it'll let
It's
you do
funny, you know, because I thought I disabled that already.
It actually, it doesn't kick you out. What happens is it's because the pop-up is triggered on the load of the page. So when you click the button, it tries to load that page. And once that page loads, the pop-up pops up again. And so if you just close the pop-up, then the page is still there. But the pop-up keeps popping up, and it creates a loop.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's what's
because when
happening.
you hit the go there or learn more, it just re-loops you. So you just have to X out of it. So
Okay,
that just
good
took
to
me a
know.
hot
Yeah, I
second.
thought I had dismantled that pop-up, but I will do that. Okay. See, this is why I needed to be here. This is great. Well, I'm gonna dismantle that thing tonight, or today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for providing this service to the Valley. I know you've been around a long time. I actually, my wife and I, we used to pick up from a drop site. And anyhow, just it's awesome. It's awesome to see you coming back to Grants Pass, and I hope we can actually make it happen today. Just saying, there's enough of us. You should check your numbers because I think we're there. We're really close based on what I just heard. So, anyways, thank you so much, Adam. Appreciate
Thank you, Trevor, and thank you everybody for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big hand for Adam. Yeah, just such a needed service, and also just a refocusing refocusing of how and where we spend our money, and what businesses we support. And you know, the more times money circulates in a community, the better it is for everybody. So this is yet another way to recirculate that money. And where do you think those farmers spend their money, right? So really, really cool. It's great. Yeah. I also wanted to give a shout out to, tomorrow, actually all week this week, we have what's called the Loop Festival here, which is a festival for young adults. But it features 3 brand new plays. And what the Loop Festival is effectively, it's like 3 one-act plays that are in the early phase of development. And this festival takes these on. It's like they started on Monday, and then on Thursday they're doing like stage reading performances of these shows. And the playwrights are zoomed in from all over the place to watch, and then they get like this. It's basically one MC for new plays, and then there's a Q&A feedback session, loop session, just like this. With the playwrights, and they come up on the screens and all of that. So if you are interested in checking out 3 new plays and supporting young adult theater in the area, also something special is these plays, there's not a lot of shows written for young adults. There are shows that have been adapted for young adults, but not a lot that are written with that late teenager, early 20s in mind. And so these shows are actually written for those, that age of actor. So anyhow, one of them is a musical. I don't know how you pull a musical off in 4 days, but they're going to do it. And so it should be awesome. It's Thursday and tomorrow. And so if you are interested, I would implore you to, there's a site you can go to and posters at your tables. Check it out. Hopefully we'll see some of you tomorrow in here. So with that in mind, we also need to clear this space within the next 15 minutes. So usually you can hang out and talk all day. Today, what I would ask is after, again, get some more coffee, but then you guys maybe hanging out. If you want to hang out and have conversations, down the cafe would be a better place today because they're going to be getting in here and doing some work. So thank you so much. Kim, did you have something?
John just wanted to promote. I'll be fast. Yep. Thank you. Hi, I'm John Andreessen. Artificial intelligence. What is it? Where is it going? What the future looks like, how it impacts us, how it affects everything in our world.